Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you guys are enjoying your Wednesday, the night before Hallow Eve. So it should be a fun one tomorrow. Tonight we're just going to talk about a couple things that happened today with Bitcoin miners, obviously. A couple stories. Anthony Pompliano is now pumping Hut 8 a little bit. We'll talk about that. We have also MicroStrategy going to be basically using an ATM, using also secured debt to get like 42 billion in buying more Bitcoin here in the next 4 years. We'll talk about that. And then what else do we have here? Russia is basically banning Bitcoin mining in some regions. We'll talk about that, give you guys my thoughts on it as well. And then Riot also provided their Q3 results. We don't have all the data yet. They provided a preliminary results or a shortened version of the results. I'm still waiting on the 10Q for it to come out. Once that comes out, we'll really dive deep into it because we'll have all the numbers for it. Okay. But that is it on today's agenda. So as always, you guys know the drill. Not financial advice, entertainment only. Please do your own research as always. Full disclosure below that. Hit the like button, subscribe if you enjoy this type of content. Helps me out, right? It attracts more people to come in, and I make a little bit more. And I'll be honest with you guys, right now I'm making like $650 to $700 a month on YouTube alone. So not much. For the time I spent, I'm making like maybe less than minimum wage doing this stuff here. So I hope you guys appreciate it. All right, let's do enough of that. Let's get into this screen that I wanted to take a look at here. So this is Bitcoin here on the daily chart right now. We were down today a little bit. We weren't down that much. 0.5% roughly on Bitcoin. We closed at 72,322. We did go down to a low of, where was it? Low of 71,400. So we had a nice little rebound there. We're in the green a little bit here in the new day, which isn't bad. But looking at I think it's the 1 hour chart that I wanted to take a look at. Yeah. The 1 hour chart is bouncing off of the 50 moving average here. I don't know if it's 50-hour moving average. I'm guessing that's what it is. But it's bouncing off of that, which is kind of a good sign here. The 50-minute chart went all the way down to the 200 moving average on it, and it bounced off of that as well. And now we're bouncing off of the 150 as well. So it's looking pretty good, I think. Tomorrow's the last day. It's going to be interesting how Bitcoin plays out tomorrow, whether we get a nice green day on it and maybe reach a new all-time high. That would be nice. I think it would be a good way to end December. But Bitcoin price here for the month so far is up 14%, so still not too bad, right? For the end of October here, if we get to a new all-time high, we might be at like 15, 16, 17%, something like that, which would also be pretty good for the month. And like we talked about before, it's playing out kind of similar to what we saw back in 2015, 2016, time frames for 2016 more so than anything else on it, okay? Going back to the miners for the most part were down, except for Hut 8. Hut 8 had a endorsement from Anthony Pompliano. They're going to be working together, it looks like. We'll get into that story in a little bit. But Anthony's got like 1.7 million followers on X. So that helped out the stock today. It was up 5.68% compared to everybody else that was down today. And then you got Wolf being up also a little bit here, 2.9%. And everybody else was down. It wasn't down too bad of a day. And the rest of the miners, they were down single digits percentage-wise. So not too bad, like I said. Okay. What else do we have here? I think Riot was down after hours as well. It was down another like 5-7% after hours last time I checked because of the results. We'll talk about those in a little bit as well. And then the ETFs were down. Who else was down? MicroStrategy was down as well today on their report on earnings, I believe. That came out. I don't know where they are after hours right now, though. Okay. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick as well, see where that's standing right now on this 30-day. This is 7-day average. 7-day average is back up to 735. That is still not the peak here. It's pretty close. Actually, no, it did peak above it. 735.808. This was 735.533. So, yeah, we got a new peak here on the 7-day average at least. What about the daily? Do we see a huge spike in the daily? Yes, we are. We're seeing a spike here. We are at 803 exahash on the daily right now. I like to use the 7-day average, preferably the 30-day average. That kind of smooths a lot of this noise and up and down spikes that we were seeing on the daily. But on the 30-day average, we're at 695 exahash right now, a continuation of the uptrend that we've seen here recently on it. All right, let's get into the stories that we do have here really quick. We'll go, and I don't know if we're going to go in order. We'll just go the way I have it right now. So MicroStrategy announces 42 billion capital plan, including 21 billion ATM equity offering and a target of raising 21 billion in fixed income securities. So this is obviously huge news here, and I believe they're going to plan on doing this in the next 4 years. I believe I thought I saw that someplace. I could be wrong on this, but that's a lot of Bitcoin that they're going to be buying here, nonetheless. So this is great news for Bitcoin. Michael Saylor is the GOAT here when it comes to Bitcoin. I don't know whether he's trying to get to 1 million BTC on the balance sheet there. And whatever he does with it, whether he becomes a bank for BTC or whatnot, it is just, outstanding the way that this guy has had a vision, and he's implementing that vision regardless of the noise and everything else. His conviction in Bitcoin is astounding. I will just say that. Okay. So that's that. Next is here, Anthony announces announcement, my plan to become an energy dealer. I read through this. It was basically a rehash of all of the talking points from Hut 8 for the most part. We'll go down below. I'll give you guys my thoughts on it as well. But energy dealer, I think the energy dealer he's using his energy to promote Hut 8 basically is what I'm seeing here, at least right now. We'll see what he actually does for them. But going down here, you can read through all this. It's talking points from Hut 8, the investment from Code 2, investment from institutional investments, buying into the stock as well. They're talking about how great the deal is with Bitmain, where they're going to be hosted in the beginning, but then they have the optionality to buy the Bitcoin miners outright later on, which I think is a crap deal, but that's me. Maybe they think of it otherwise, obviously. But down here, so after all of this sweet talk and kissing their rear ends, you could say, I guess, he goes into actually some of the real fruit of this, right? So here's what he says. So this brings us to the question, what is Anthony Pompliano going to do to help Hut 8? The simple answer lies in the biggest problem I see the company facing. They have done a bad job telling the market and the world what they do and how the company is progressing against their goals. Okay, so he's going to become basically a spokesperson for them right now. That's what I'm getting out of this on it. He's going to be working with them. He's going to be, maybe providing some leads, things like that, whatever it is. But it looks like right now he's just a glorified spokesperson for them, possibly. My only concern there is with Sue. Sue has done a fantastic job, I think, over the years with Hut 8. If Pump does really well or Anthony does really well, she might be out of a job. We'll see. But I hope she stays in there. So continue on here. Imagine to my surprise as I uncovered the various things I am writing about today, I spent a good amount of my time in the industry, yet I was completely obvious about a number of these developments. If I was oblivious about them, imagine how uninformed everyone else is. Imagine. And I think you're a little uninformed about everything else that's gone on with Hut 8. I'll just say that, they're... Oh gosh, we could probably spend a good half an hour to an hour talking about Hut 8 alone, where I see issues with them and everything else. So he goes on to say, I want to be an energy dealer. Okay, it could be anything, right? Energy dealer, he's using up his energy to deal with their problems and provide some solutions maybe, and also provide some communications to his followers. Going on down here, he says, I will help them communicate information to proper parties. Okay, together we have the chance to build a large, profitable, and an important company. Hut 8 is a 1.6 billion company as of this morning, but I believe they can create tens of billions of dollars in market cap if everything goes right. They don't really need to do anything. Bitcoin goes up, they're going to be a couple $1 billion by itself. You guys know the biggest issue I have with Hut 8 is their self-mining. It's atrocious. They have older machines. Not a lot of hash rate, not a lot of growth here. They mostly deal with hosting, managed services, and they do have some HPC AI deals as well there, and some data centers that are generating some revenue for them. But the big thing here is, my concern has always been the Bitcoin mining side of things, which they see that as expensive. They find it easier to do other things that are less expensive potentially, that have possibly higher margins on it. I don't know if they have higher margins. We'll take a look at their numbers here for Q3 when they report, but historically it hasn't been that great. Bitcoin is usually the bread and butter, or at least it was in the past for Hut 8. So we'll see on that one. I just don't get it. I mean, I can get it. I can actually see this being probably a project of Asher Gnutz. Based on what I know about him and his readings in the past, books that he's read and things like that, this sounds like a playbook out of one of those books. Get a person that is reputable, has a large following to help you grow the business potentially from there. Got a lot of context and things like that. So this kind of makes sense that they would do that. I'd like to know how much Anthony's getting paid for this, whether it's shares or actual cash dollar values or something like that. But we'll find out in due time. I do actually like Anthony a lot because he's done a lot of great things for Bitcoin, the industry in general. So I highly value Anthony as it is. But there might have been better companies to get involved with. That's just all I'm going to say. Okay. Next here, Russia to ban crypto mining. So this is going to be short and sweet. Russia to ban crypto mining in key regions as energy shortages intensify. Russia's moving to ban cryptocurrency mining in energy restricted regions, citing severe power shortages that could jeopardize long-term stability until 2030. So I've been on Spaces and other places talking about the nation states getting into Bitcoin mining and Russia approving it. One of my concerns has always been is Russia's infrastructure is pretty bad. I saw, what was it, just today or yesterday, I think they had a waste, so like the sewer waste, right? They had a huge break someplace, I think it was in Moscow even, where all that waste was just like a fissure, was just blowing out into the streets and everything else, nasty as can be. But their infrastructure is in decline. It has been in decline for a number of years, and it's going to be challenging for anybody to really go into that. The only mining that might be happening there is like from the oligarchs and people that have a lot of money in Bitcoin in Russia already. Because outside investment, I don't see that going into it because there's just too many unknowns, too many uncertainties with the government, everything else. And you just never know that the government could one day go, all the Bitcoin miners, thank you for so much for setting this all up. We're going to now make it a state-run entity. So that's always the risk there. So that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to be, if there's going to be any growth in hash rate in Russia, it's going to be from people that are already wealthy in Russia, and, or even the government doing it itself, or like the oligarchs possibly. Okay, so that's kind of my thoughts on it. So that's probably not going to be adding a lot of hash rate. It might add some, but not going to be adding as much people think, I think. All right, lastly here, Riot Platforms reports third quarter 2024 financial results, current operations and financial highlights. We'll get through some of the stuff here. I still haven't seen the 10Q report, which is what I like to use to put into my spreadsheets for all the data. So when they do, we'll probably rehash this a little bit, maybe tomorrow, maybe tonight they'll get that released. But here you can see the Corsicana facility here. I'll just kind of quickly go over some of the things here. Total revenue was 84 million, so that was good. That was an increase from the last year's quarter, right? They produced 1,004 Bitcoin during the quarter. And then the average cost of Bitcoin mine, excluding depreciation, was 35,000. It's still a little higher than what we've seen with like Cypher, Cleanspark, and others as well. Let's see here. It generated 12.4 million in power credits during the quarter, compared to 49, almost 50 million here last year. That was a really good quarter for them on that one. Bitcoin mining revenue was at 67.5. I had them at 67. What did I have them at? Let's go over here. I had them at 67.512. That's okay. So we came in pretty close, right on it actually. Based on what they reported, 67.419. I was off by 0.03% on it. So really close to them. What else do we have here? Engineering revenue was 12.6 million for the quarter. That was a decrease from the 15.5 that they had the prior year. And let's see, maintained industry leading financial position with 590 million in working capital, including 355 million in cash and 190 million in marketable equity securities. That I believe is for Bitfarms there. They held 10,427 in an unencumbered Bitcoin, equating to approximately 660 million based on market price for Bitcoin as of September 30th at 63. Okay, so it's probably up from there. They have diluted also a little bit here. Let me see if I can find it. Where is it at? Let's see, shares. Going down here. Where's it at? Here it is. So shares increased to 332 million, which is what I have for them updated now for it. And where is it at? Over here. So we have them at 332 million shares right now. That gives them a market cap of about 3.5 billion roughly. So that did increase their market cap here quite nicely. And then going down here, right? So we have partially what I'm looking for in the 10Q figures. Net income loss was 154 million. Quite a substantial loss there, actually. EBITDA was negative 99 million. So that's not good. That's why the stock, I think, went down in the after hours. What What else do we have here? Cost of power. You guys can read over this stuff, but we'll get into more of a deep dive on it when they release the actual Q3 results via the 10Q, and then that will get plugged into all my numbers here. We'll run some metrics on it as well. But this is all the stuff that I need. I need current assets, current liabilities. I need all that information, and I don't have the information right now to see where things are really stacking up for them. Okay, so we'll get into that later on, maybe tomorrow if we get the information, or on Monday or on Friday maybe, depending when they release it here. But we do have some preliminary information, and it wasn't that great. I did listen to the conference call as well. It seems like they're operating a little bit better in October, at least from what Jason stated, that they are at 22 exahash average, which is actually pretty good because I'm at 28 exahash here. So they're 6 exahash under from where they really should be operating. That'd be 100% uptime. So what does that make them at this point? If we take 22, bear with me here while I pull my calculator. So if we take 22 divided by 28, they're operating at 78%. So that's better than what they were operating in September, which was around 65 to 70 some percentage on that. So that's actually good that they're improving that. They did decrease their hash rate for the end of the year down to like 34.9, almost basically 35 exahash from the 37 exahash that they were targeting here this year. The reason for that was, I believe, gosh, I'm drawing a blank right now, but I believe it was because of infrastructure. They needed some kind of components to get to that, and also less growth than they thought in Kentucky, I believe. So that's it for right now. We'll talk about a heck of a lot more of it when we actually do get the 10Q numbers. Okay. But other than that, I think we're pretty much done here. We'll get into you guys' Q&A side of things. As always, you guys know that Patreon members get access to all my spreadsheets and everything that I do. Updated link for that is down in the description. Let's get into your guys' Q&A because it's late, and I apologize for doing this so late. I had to mow the lawn today. I also had to help my son out with his homework and then prepare for this, take a shower, get down here, and get prepared as well. So I apologize for the late show. Let's see if you guys have any questions here. Let me pull that up, and we'll go from there. Give me a couple of seconds here while I try to catch up with some of the comments and questions and things like that, and I'll try to stay on point today. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? Okay. All right, here we go. Okay, Sarmelon says Bitfarms will do extremely well. Just watch. We'll see. Yeah, Bitfarms and Riot were the only two miners that actually had a positive or an increase in revenue from Q2. So it'll be interesting to see what they report. Okay, let's see. What Bitcoin mining is in Russia? There's some, yeah, but they're getting a little brakes, put some brakes on it right now. Okay. Let's see. Sarmelon says Chris ain't showing up tonight. He's embarrassed after the clown show of a report for Riot. It's late, so usually Chris shows up. Well, maybe Chris should be in here later on. What else we got here? Robin says, I'm sticking with Bitfarms for the long run. A guide candle is just around the corner. I'm hoping that's the case. I think a lot of us are hoping that's the case. Jackie says, Chris is currently in a meeting with Jason. Chris, where are you? Defend yourself, buddy. Okay. Okay. It's a lot of Chris comments here. Let's see. BlackRock bought 12,123 BTC today. Wow. And the miners are only generating 450 in a day. Right? Something's going fishy there. We need Bitcoin to go up much higher if they're buying that much. Okay. Okay. Para says, I got a 15K bonus paid today. Should I buy Hut 8 or Riot? No. I think you know my stance on both of those. Let's see. What's the current best miner BTC hodl to share outstanding? We will get that updated once we have all the reports for all the miners for Q3. Because right now we're going off of the data that we have from Q2 along with the shares outstanding, which I'm sure are going to be higher. So hold off on that for a couple of weeks. Once we get all that updated, we'll do that. Net Para says, jokes, already bought Bitfarms. Nice. Okay. Where are we here? Why is MicroStrategy down? I don't know if the results weren't that great for their regular operating business. I don't know if that's the reason for it. Could be also Bitcoin was down a little bit here today. That could have caused it to go down as well. Let's see. Alexander says he's got 12,000 Cleanspark and 9,000. Nice, very nice. Okay, Brett says 40,000 in miners ain't enough. I wish I would have had more. I wish I would have had more cash back in like 2022 and towards the end of 2022. Man, when everything was low, I wish I would have bought the boat at that point. Okay, so it smells like a supply shortage incoming, and you would think, right? Then Bitcoin would go up at that point. Okay. Let's see. Alexander says my base case scenario by end of 25, I make 1 million. Nice. How about you? That's kind of where I'm looking at with just the miners. If things work out the way I hope they do, I'll be close to 1 million at that point. But that's not including my 401k profit sharing plan, which might be even better than that. Let's see. 97 says pass on Hut 8. Sadie, how you doing? Let's see. Hut 8 is not an energy deal. Yeah, they're not. Okay. Sauer says my breadwinner right now is 100,000 shares of Wolf. I hold it. Wow. Okay, you're doing fantastically right now. You've done a great job there. I bought it as a giant gamble. They were almost bankrupt when I bought. Yeah, at 61 cents. Yeah, I mean, wow. All I can say is wow. I would have never thought that they would have done so well, but I didn't also take into consideration the HPCI deals or HPCI pump. I guess you could say that I didn't think it was going to be that big. Okay. Let's see. Sorry, Mrs. Tom was the one from Invest Answers. No, not Invest Answers. Oh, what's his? Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yes. Okay. Let's see. Space Grid says Anthony doesn't convince me. LOL. Yeah, I mean, the post was all about talking points that were already spread by Hut 8. He's just regurgitating those. We'll see what he does for the company. Okay. Let's see. Alexander asks why he changed Cleanspark to 100 to Cleanspark to 50. You know, that could be dilution, maybe, but you also be realistic about it, right? If you get to 50, I think that's going to be great. Could we go higher than that? Yeah, possibly, right? I still have them at between 60 and 70, but we'll have to see what they put out as far as the number of shares outstanding once they report the quarterly results. That might change my numbers again because dilution and things like that. Unless they come out and say they're getting to like 100 exahash next year, okay, then at that point things might change. It might actually give them a higher price because they're doing it in the bull run. See, David says, I don't consider Hut 8 a Bitcoin mine anymore. They are just a data center now. That's kind of the way I see them also. Let's see. Okay. I'm trying to find other questions here. Bear with me, please. Okay. Bitcoin predicted to reach 100,000 by January 2025, according to 10x Research. Okay. That would play in line with what I'm thinking. It'd be nice if it does it. Okay. Now, so which mining company has infrastructures in Russia? None of the public miners. None of the public miners right now. The ones that I track, at least, none of those. But there's been a lot of talk about Russia making it legal again to basically mine Bitcoin. But now we're seeing stories coming out that they're running out of power already. So how many megawatts can you actually get in there? And, there's just too much what ifs and unknowns and too many shady players in that region to really do anything of large scale, I think. Okay. Yeah, Alexander says they're only private miners in Russia. Yeah. Okay. So what is the Bitcoin peak in 2025? I'm thinking like 180,000. We could go higher than that, depending how much adoption we have, everything else that goes into it. But it's kind of like my conservative estimate where I think we could get to. Let's see. It would be beneficial to the global hash rate difficulty if Russia stops mining. but how much hash rate is actually there? That's the question. Okay. Let's see. 9 cents is 154,000 plus or minus 100,000. So, well, we already passed 54,000. So you're thinking maybe between there and 250,000. Okay. So any thoughts on Sol strategies and Neptune digital assets, microcap stocks, modeling, MSTR? I don't track them. I know that they've been getting a nice. Some of these guys have been getting a nice pounce. What's another one? That's the medical device one. I'm drawing a blink on it, but they've been doing kind of nice on that play. We'll see how they do going forward, though. Okay. Is Riot a buy, hold, or sell for you based on Q3 results? I knew the Q3 results weren't going to be great. I'm still not happy with the share-based compensation that they just came out with. It's way too much for me. It seems like their operations are improving. They're around, what we have, about 80, 78, something, 80% on my numbers here. What was it? Yeah, 78%. So that is an improvement. I'd like to see that even higher. Like they stated, they need to be around 95%. For me, if you have them already, I would hold on to it. I think they're going to do great and see how they improve. If they improve, you're going to do very well. Okay. Question, what do you need in next Bitfarms report for it to run? Them installing the 2 exahash plus more in October. I think that would help. Okay. Can you elaborate why you don't like the Hut 8 Bitmain agreement? They get paid to set up the miners and have the option to buy. What's not to like? Okay. So, depending, I can't recall the price of per terahash that they would be paying for those. They just said that they would have advantageous pricing, right? Whatever that might mean. Okay, so they get those installed, and then they decide, okay, Bitcoin's at 100,000, right? Could that be towards December? Could that be towards March? We don't know exactly when Bitcoin's going to get to that point. And at that point, they go, okay, we'd like to buy these, right? And if they're still buying those at like $18 per terahash, $16 per terahash, whatever it might be, they're going to be paying a lot. And then your window shortens for your return on investment on those. Right now is the time you should be probably getting those things ordered, installed, and operational as you go into this bull run to make it basically ROI within 12 months, potentially. That's the best scenario you can hope for. Now, if you get those and you see things are doing really well, Bitcoin goes up to 125,000, 150,000, and you go, okay, well, we'd like to buy those now. And then Bitcoin gets to 180, 200,000, whatever, within a couple months, and then that's it. We get into a bear market. Well, are you actually going to be able to recoup those costs on those within 12 months? Probably not. Now you're looking at more like 18 to 24 months. So that's why I'm not a big fan of that. Okay. Rick, thank you so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Let's see. Thanks in advance, Seb. Do you plan on selling miners and HODL BTC until the next cycle, or will you sell both BTC and miners? Bitcoin, I'm probably going to hold on to it. I have a nice amount of it. I think I'm going to hold on to it. Right? See if Bitcoin can get to $1 million by 2035 or something like that. Which at that point I would be looking to possibly I wouldn't be. Well, I'd still have a couple more years to retire before then. So I'm probably just going to hold on to that. Now, could I do better if I tried selling it and then buying it back again lower? Maybe, but I've sucked at it in the past, so I'm not even going to try. Excuse me. Why is Microsoft tanking? Microsoft is tanking. I think it's because of the amount of expenditures that they had. I saw something about that. That's the only thing I can think of right now. Okay. I guess you explained what Hut 8 so strong in price trend. It's HPCI right now. You got Coke2 investing in them, $150 million. Who else? Institutions have been buying into them as well. They've done a pretty good job, I think, telling their story of what they want to do, right? Turning electrons into money. Okay. So I guess all the miners are diluting in the end of every month. Why every month they have to dilute? They don't have to dilute. It's just, do they want to dilute? Do they need to grow? Do they need to pay for something like that for operations? Especially the guys that are hodling like Riot, Cleanspark, Marathon, that are hodling pretty much everything that they mine right now. Those guys, unless they already have huge cash reserves, will need to dilute ATMs plus for future growth and things like that. Okay. Andre says, I've noticed Pompiliano is a promoter of many crypto-related companies. I think he's pretty stretched with time unless he hires someone to promote using his social media. Maybe, I don't know. Yeah. But he's got a lot of contacts and things like that, so there might be some benefit there. Let's see here. Metagirl says, Metal Girl, nice. Sorry, I'm joining late. MicroStrategy is going to be buying 21 billion of Bitcoin in the next 3 years. That's what I'm understanding out of it. Well, like 42 billion, I think. 21 billion of that's going to be through an ATM, and then 21 billion is going to be through secured notes or something like that. Let's see. What is the best miner when considering? Considering? Best miner, historically, the last 12 months, 3 years, you could say Cleanspark has probably been the best miner from growth perspective, operations, things like that. I would say they were probably the best ones. Okay. MicroStrategy did a 2x in the last 2 months. Is it taking a breather? Could be. If it did a 2x and Bitcoin's only gone up, 40% or something like that, then yeah, it probably could be taking a breather. Okay. Said, which website do you check BlackRock buying Bitcoin today? I don't check that. You guys provided that in the comments up above on that, so that's where I saw it. Okay. Hello, Seb. Based on Riot's earnings today, I'm in profit. Would you sell 50% of it and buy another miner like Mara? Not financial advice. Thank you. If you're in profit on it and you're 50% in profit already, right? Today I'm in profit. Would you sell 50%? So you're not. Gosh, I don't know. Depending on what you got into it, what's your dollar cost average into it, or what's your cost average in it? Sorry, guys, just getting late. I'm getting tired. I would say maybe hold on to it if you got into a really good position there at a much lower price, and see how they do in Q4. Can they improve their operation uptime? Can they reduce some of their stock-based compensation, because it's been out of control here on that one? But yeah, I would just say that if you don't think they can do those things, then maybe you do, sell a portion of that and move into somebody else. Okay. Seb, how is Bitcoin not going up more? So much buying. How is there enough selling pressure to drive it down? The algorithm ain't right. I don't know. Yeah, that's always seemed a little shady to me, especially with miners only producing 450 BTC per day. You got ETFs buying a bunch of it. Where are they getting that from? Is it the whales selling it that still have it? I doubt that. Is it through OTCs? Possibly. But even the OTCs should be running dry by now with the amount of buying that's been happening here. So it's market manipulation at its best. That's the only way I can explain it. They'll run it up when they want to run it up. They'll bring it down when they want to bring it down so they can buy more. We're just all, part of the game here. Okay. Hi, Seb, as per history, at what quarter miners go parabolic after having year? Lots of miners are already 5 to 7x. Are you expecting 4 to 5 from here onwards? Yeah, I'm still expecting that. We should be going. October should have been a much better month than what it is, but it's still a pretty good month. November should be a much better month as well, historically speaking. And then next year we should have the first half. Oh, well, we can look at the chart here. Where is it at? This is probably going to be better than what I can explain it here. But we're looking like we're at the 2015-2016 cycle where we had Septembers in the greens, right? And then next year, so it's going to be 2025, we're looking at, it's going to be 2017 from the prior cycles that we're looking at here. February, nice month. April, May, June potentially as well. July, also pretty good here. But August, that was a one-off, I think, maybe. 2013 had a good one, but we had 65. I'm not expecting that next year in August. Also, 47 was pretty high here as well in October of next year. So I'm thinking a lot of that growth is going to be happening in like Q3, Q4 of next year, where we're going to be up and down here a little bit in 2025. On some months are going to be better than others. It's just going to be still a roller coaster ride because you can't continue to go up in value in Bitcoin without having a at least sizable pullback, 10, 20%, and then you continue back up. We saw that here a little bit, 2016, 2017. I mean, we weren't down too much, but we were down 9%. But I think some months we were down actually like 20%. Then we went back up above that and actually came up in the profits here on it. Okay, so that's kind of what I would expect. What else we got here? Okay, let's see. Specific questions. 70 thoughts on Sol. Covered that already a little bit. So if you guys put in the questions. I will get to them eventually. There is a delay on it, and then I'm trying to catch up with all the questions here, so I'm probably behind your guys' comments by about a couple minutes. Okay, what else we got here? Okay, covered that question already. Okay, let's see. I know you don't like HUT 8 at all, but I'm pretty glad I bought at 12.25 Canadian in September. Best performer right now. It's been a good performer. It hasn't been the best performer, but it's been a good performer. I will agree there. And the reason it's getting good performance or good price spike is because of the HPC I play. Let's see. Den says, my riot bag never fails to disappoint me. Ready to mutiny. Jason Les needs to walk the plank. Yeah, the numbers weren't good. Who is Tom? Tom is from Talking Investing, I think. That's who he's referring to. Okay. Your thumbnail earned you a good like, good sir. I appreciate that. Just trying to have a little fun. Right, getting hot in here, but using HUT as the hot and going hot. What else we got here? Is BitDigital a good AI play? They already have a customer there that's paying them close to $100 million a year for the next. They had it for this year, and it's going to be for the next 2 years as well. So they already have an AI play there. They're buying also data centers right now, tier 3 data centers that they just recently purchased, and they're going to be building out other ones as well. So in that sense, yes, but they're not being valued on it because it's not a lot of megawatts, and in the past they've been asset light. So, and their Bitcoin mining is going down, so they haven't been valued on both of those things really, but they're starting to catch a little bit of a bid here, it looks like. Bounce. What to buy today? Anything that you have conviction in right now. I think prices are still relatively low to where they're going to be the next year. Okay. When can we expect CORZ to pay back its debt? It's already paid back some of it, but still has a ways to go. Excuse me. I'm guessing once they start generating revenue from CoreWeave. Let's see. I can't pronounce your name, so I'm sorry. Losing faith in Bitfarms. It's definitely testing my patience as well. Let's see. Is it time to buy Riot better than IREN Wolf now? Wolf, I think, is just way overvalued right now. There's no HPC idea or anything like that has been announced. It's a lot of speculation on that one. I think IREN would be a better one. They're growing. They have great operations, things like that. I think Riot is also undervalued, but I also think Riot is undervalued. So if Riot can fix their operations, uptime, all that stuff, then they would be probably a good buy as well. What do you think IREN will report this month, positive or negative EPS, including mining and HPC AI? I think, let's take a look at it here. What do we have for them on the monthly here? On my charts at least. Where's the numbers at? Over here. Okay. So I'm at 49 million in Bitcoin mining revenue, roughly. That's going to be a decrease from where they were in Q2 a little bit, right? And then what do they report here in Q2 for their earnings per share? That was June. They were down 29 cents. I still think they're going to be down, maybe not as much as that, depending on their expenses and all that stuff, but the number of shares, I would expect it to be maybe a little bit less, but we'll see on that one. It's tough. Sorry. What do we got else? Okay. As for this year, FundStrat's Tom Lee has repeatedly predicted that Bitcoin could reach 150,000 in 2024. Bitcoin is currently changing at 71,000 after dipping by 2% over the past 24 hours. Yeah, I would have a hard time believing that would get to 150,000. I mean, that's basically a 2x from where it is right now. And you got 2 months to go. And looking back at historical data on Bitcoin and what it's done in November and December, I just don't see that happening. Sub, can you compare Cleanspark performance against other miners in BTC after dilution announcement? Thank you. Well, the dilution announcement is not a dilution announcement. You're talking about the 300 million that they got added, right, to their, I call it coffers, to their basically piggy bank. But it's not dilution right away. The dilution is going to happen later on. It's when they're done with their ATM that they have for, 800 million, I think right now they have an ATM that they need to use up. And then they'll probably get another ATM next year, or don't know exactly, but maybe even this year, who knows. but then they'll start using that up. It's going to take, still believe it's going to take like 5 to 7 years for them to use that up potentially. As long as the price is staying elevated where it's at right now or higher, and they pull on that, it's going to definitely take longer for it to be used up. But we'll do the numbers on once all the miners also report their latest shares outstanding for the quarterly results. We'll then look at all the miners as well. Will Mara ever go back above 20? Yes, they will. Let's see. Hi, so I've invested $300,000 in my life savings into IREN, Cleanspark, Riot at 13 average. Do you think I should be able to reach 1 million profit? 13? Yeah, I mean, if we go, you would all need to go up like 3x basically on these guys, close to that, 3.5x to get to 1 million. So yes, I do think as long as we have a nice bull run, Bitcoin gets above 100,000, 120, 150,000, wherever it might be, then yes, I still think that you would be able to do that. Okay. Do you know when the vote on the allocation of BTC at Microsoft will take place? Do you also think it could be a massive sign and catalyst? I thought that's not taken until the next shareholder meeting. I'm not sure what that is though. I thought that was like in like January of next year, I think. Maybe even this year. But I thought it was like next year, early next year. Let's see. Simply just careful. Make sure you do. Yeah, once things are going up, yeah, definitely take profits. Let's see. This cycle was the best cycle to get into miners. Looks like a lot of miners bottom that never been there before. You think next Bitcoin winner, Cleanspark bottom will be bottom at $10? It could be even lower than that. Remember, Riot and Marathon both got to like $80, close to that. Or Marathon got to $80. Riot was at $70 some, I think it was, at one point, and they all went down to sub $10. So if we have a similar cycle where Bitcoin goes down 80% or something like that, then miners are going down 90-95% from where they were. So we're going back down. Okay, let's see. Can MicroStrategy hit 450 once BTC hits that? I don't know. Where are they at? Like 200 now, something like that. That would be. I would think we need Bitcoin to be probably like more above 120,000, 150,000, somewhere around there. Okay. I would prefer to see this than see a bottom around 5 for Cleanspark. Okay. Robin says Bitfarms is a coiled spring. Don't sell it. That would be nice. We need that to uncoil quickly here. Let's see. Morgan Stanley increased their IREN holdings by 200% a couple of weeks ago. I smell an AI deal announcement. Well, that would be nice, depending on the announcement, right? We could get an announcement, but what if the announcement is only for like $10 million a year? Or, $50 million a year? How big is that of a deal? Not that big of a deal. Let's see. Sarmelin Gaming says, Jason Less is the only person to blame for Bitfarms lagging. If I ever saw him in person, do not be physical. That is not the way to go. But that's also what I'm thinking is holding the stock down, maybe. Time will tell. Let's see. Jen Powell says, Riot, yeah, 154 million loss, 30 million share-based compensation. It is crazy. Okay. Robin says, Hut never gives specifics, and they are obtuse in all their releases. There's nothing but debt there. They have a lot of debt, but they do have also 9,000 BTC that they're holding right now. Some of it is encumbered on, I think, some loans that they have, but not that much. I think might be only like 20%, 25%, something like that of it. So it isn't too bad. Okay. What else we got here? I'm trying to catch up with the comments and questions. Do you think Riot dumped some of their BTF today? I don't know. There was a question asked of Jason during the conference call. What do they plan to do with Bitfarms shares? And he said, right now there's not much that they're going. Not much. They said right now they're not doing anything really with it. And as far as he said that Bitfarms, in a sense, he said Bitfarms has done a really good job straightening out the board there, all that stuff. So it seems like they're pleased with that. And then he said that they will definitely keep an eye on what the stock does, I guess, what the company does, things like that. And they have the optionality to sell if they want to, hold on to it, sell it later on. Time will tell what they do. Yeah, Gary says over 30 million in stock-based compensation for Riot Q3. There will be over 120 million for the year. Bitcoin used to go to 150,000 for them to become profitable. Yeah, it's not a great optic there. Okay, afraid of a big decline after the election? Not really. Might have a dip, but I wouldn't expect it to be big decline. Look at historical numbers for Bitcoin and after the elections of past. Okay. Looks and feels like momentum is fading. In miners or in Bitcoin? Camara, Cleanspark, and Riot just merge and have a transformer, baby, marathon, Riot, and a giga cap of 30 billion. Then I can beat inflation. Yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon. Why is Riot down after hours? I think the results were not that great. Looks and feels like momentum in Cleanspark might be fading. Give it time. We're still early in this bull run here. We still have approximately 9 to 12 months to go. Give it time. Okay. How much BTC has to go? So IREN going to 50. I would think Bitcoin's have to be probably around 120,000 north of that. Is Cleanspark IREN more undervalued? Right now, as of today, let me pull out my sheet here on the enterprise metrics. Based on what we have here so far, I would say Cleanspark is slightly more undervalued than what IREN is right now. Cleanspark is being valued at 43 million per exahash. IREN is being 53. I think that one is more undervalued right now. Based on that alone. Go back here. Okay. Okay, how many X do you think the miners can achieve from present price by the end of this year? I would think 2x, depending where Bitcoin goes. It all depends where Bitcoin goes at that point. So what would you do if the cycle doesn't play out like we think and you get trapped in another bear market while still holding your miners? Would you just would you just hold them for a few years until next cycle? Oh gosh, I don't know. I'm way up still on some of these guys. Cleanspark, I'm almost up like 200% on it, so it would have to go down quite a bit for me to be in the red on it. If we peaked at 70,000 or 73,000 right now, and that's it, that's all we're getting, then I'm selling out of the miners here, take a little bit of profit. I might be still up 50 to 100% on some. Well, like Cleanspark probably might be at least 50 to 100% up on it. The other ones I might break even at that point. I would not hold on to it. I would just take the money that I do have, pay off some things, and then kind of reevaluate things, see where we're going after that. Okay. M says I'd sell 50% of my Riot now. Too many red flags. There's a much better miners out there. Don't waste your time. And that's one way to do it. What do you think of price of Bitfarms by November end and by December? Oh, I'd like to see it around $3 to $4 by that time, if not higher. Okay. IREN potentially using ATM at high share price of 9 to 10 should possibly announce a fully funded to 40.50 next earnings, so they could help stock price even further. Plus, say they are at 22, 24 exahash. Yeah, that would help. We've seen that before. We've seen it with other miners that report that they are fully funded to X number of hash rate, and the stock takes off at that point. What is your price prediction of IREN, BitDigital, and Hive, and if BTC is at 100,000, 150,000, 180,000? Okay, BitDigital, like I said before, is not getting valued on HPC AI really, or Bitcoin mining for that matter. I think they're getting more valued on the HPC now that they're buying infrastructure. That one's tough because they have 2.4 exahash, I believe, in miners. They're not installing anything newer going forward, at least. So I don't know where that one's going to really go. That one's going to be highly dependent on, I believe, the hype around HPC AI. Hive is another one that's a great operator, great uptime, all that stuff. They're just not growing that much. They just want to maintain 1% of the Bitcoin network hash rate. I think they'll follow Bitcoin. Bitcoin goes up, right? So Bitcoin goes up 2x. I would expect them to do at least 2x at that point. So whatever the price points that you have, 150,000, 180,000, you could do, right, for Bitcoin to get to 150,000, that's 2x. And like IREN, I would think that since they're growing still tremendously here, they should get like a 3 to 5x, right? On top of what Bitcoin does. So that's kind of where you would kind of see those numbers at. Okay. I really want to sell a portion of my Riot shares to buy Mara. Do you think I should wait at least for their October report before making a decision? Yeah. If you're looking to get from Riot into Mara, wait to see what they report. Okay. Question: what would be a good entry point for MicroStrategy? Buy the dips. I don't know how much lower we're going to go, especially if Bitcoin goes up. If you got dips, go ahead and buy them. Mike says, Riot is a scam company. Been saying that. Execs pay themselves, dilute the bank out of y'all, and don't even do their job. Yeah, the stock-based compensation is a lot. Let's see. Kay says, okay, this is small text here. Reading all the questions here and very surprised based on the questions asked. Now, these people should sit in cash only. It's dangerous time to play this dangerous game in crypto sector. No FOMO. Yeah, well, it is definitely right now. I think is not a time to be cute. Not time to be trading these things because you just never know where things are going to go, and they could go relatively quickly to the upside. I think more to the upside than to the downside, actually. Space Grid says, I assume Mara does 150 plus this cycle, potentially, depending, how much do they get valued on Bitcoin HODL, and how much do they grow going forward into 2025 as well, and where does Bitcoin go? But that would be a high bar. At $150 plus, you're talking about a market cap for them. Let's see, Marathon has, how many shares does Marathon have? Outstanding, about 300 million. So what is that, 150 times, was that 45 billion market cap? I have a hard time seeing that. 150 times, what is that, 300 million shares. 300 million shares, yeah, 45 billion market cap. I don't know. I don't see that happening, maybe. They're at, there, I should probably show you guys my screen here. Right, 5 billion right now, you're looking at 9x from here. Jeez, that'd be a lot. No, I don't know if that's doable. I could be wrong on it though. But I do wish it goes for you that. If it gets to $150,000 or $150, oh, you're gonna be sitting pretty there. Let's see. Yeah, now is the time to be in miners and crypto. I agree. Okay, let's see. You guys are talking about the $150 for Marathon here. Let's see, Mara had $75 last cycle. Don't think Kane knows what he's talking about. There's also been dilution and things like that. So that's why I'm saying it's gonna be hard for them to do that. Unless Bitcoin goes like to 300,000. At that point, you got so much FOMO that maybe you could get it. Okay. I think Cleanspark does 100 plus as well. That one I just don't see it. That would be too much for me. If it does, I'd be happy as heck if it does it, but I just don't see that happening either. Oh, what else we got here? Catching up here slowly. You guys are talking about a lot of stuff here. Okay. Can you show us the updated break-even cost for BTC for the miners? Yes, I will do that when we have all the reports from the Q3 numbers. Because right now we're dealing with numbers from Q2, and we're going to get more shares outstanding and all that stuff is going to change. So we'll do that probably like a week to 2 weeks after they report it all, because I got to put in all the data on it. So we will do that. But it's going to be probably, I don't know, maybe another 3-4 weeks before we do that. Let's see. Cleanspark stock growth to be stunned from dilution. A little bit stunned, but my original number was 70 plus. Now I'm saying 67 because of dilution, but it also depends on how much do they grow next year as well into the bull run. If they say they're getting, from 50x, which is supposed to reach probably like in the beginning of 2025, Do they say that we're getting to 100 exahash by the end of the year? I mean, if they do that, we're off to the races. Thoughts on Mara. Mara has name recognition. They've been around for a long time. Search for Bitcoin miners on Google. What's the first one that pops up? Marathon. So they have the name recognition. They have the HODL position as well. I don't agree with all of their methodology and buying Bitcoin when they're actually mining it. Operations are iffy sometimes with them. Sometimes they have really good months, and then they have really crappy months for a couple months to go. So that's the only concern I have there. And they're also getting to they're spreading out into other things. Flared gas, heating of facilities and things like that. They're doing all these things. It's like focus on one thing. I would like them, but maybe those things work out for them. Otherwise, that's the only thing I can really say on them. They've been around for a long time. Great cash balance, a lot of Bitcoin, huge hash rate. Their biggest one right now as it is market cap also. So that's what I'm thinking here. And then Seb, what's your thoughts? What are your Mara all-time high top this cycle? I think they can possibly get back to their previous all-time highs. I think that is maybe possible with them. Okay. Which miner has the best and highest profit margins out of all the miners? I'm trying to think. I would have to go back through my numbers on these, but these were for Q2. Hold off on that question once I get all the Q3 results for all the miners. Let's see. I think I've seen Jason talking about the SBC will only be paid out if they hit all the goals, and it's on the reports, but hasn't been paid. Can anyone? I've heard that too, but it still seems really weird that they're putting out that much in each quarter. Why not actually pay it out when it actually happens? You reach your goals, that's when you get them. Not going into a little piggy bank that's holding on to all the shares there at that point. Should I sell my 1,200 shares of Riot for Bitfarms? Hope so. If you got Riot, you got that many shares right now on it. I don't know. I think Bitfarms is more undervalued, but the big thing with them is, and I keep saying this, is Riot on their backs. Will that hold them down? I don't know. That's a big question. So I think Bitfarms is a little bit more risky. Riot is also has not been a great performer here, so that's a little risky. I think there's better miners out there than Riot, so it's your call on that one. Let's see. J King says lots of the miners' competition is really high, not just Riot. I think Mara's is even worse. Yes, but Mara is actually performing better as far as operations wise than Riot is, and they have a much larger HODL there. Okay, what is Riot's miner efficiency? They said on McNally interview they would give their efficiency with Q3 earnings. Sure, they must be. I think that's what they say. They're around 22. It's in one of the decks. If you look at through the presentation deck, I think it says it in there. So are you getting bearish on miners short term? No. I'm still bullish in the long term, but we need to see how Bitcoin does. So long term, I mean next 9 to 12 months possibly. Okay. What Riot is doing, compensations must be scary for retail shareholders. Yeah, we see $30 million, or it's going to be like close to $120 million in compensation. That is pretty scary. What do you think about miners ETFs? I do have those in my profit sharing plan, my retirement plan basically. I own BitQ and WGMI as well. Okay. End of March or early April 25, some say BTC going to top. Yeah, I've been hearing that too. April, March potentially. I don't think so. It would just seem too close to the halving. Just a year out, that seems a little too close. Let's see. BTC set a new all-time high yesterday in Canadian dollars and probably a few other countries. Yeah, I saw that. That was good. Okay, I'm going to sell 2.5 to 5% of my Bitfarms when stock price hits 50. Wow. When stock price for Bitfarms, that's not going to happen. $50, no way. I'm thinking somewhere between $15 and $20 might be the peak of where we get with Bitfarms. Do you know why Riot sold off on earnings? Yeah, bad numbers for them. They had a big loss. A lot of share-based compensation in there as well. Ian says, for miner info, I follow Sebastian, Wisdom Bites, and Invest Answers. All you need, all great for mine info. Well done. I appreciate it. Thank you. I follow also Invest Answers. Yeah, he's really good also. Let's see. What miners would be best for 3.5 to 4x at this point? I still think it's Bitfarms, IREN, Cleanspark, probably Riot, Cypher as well, Marathon in there. I think like the top miners are growing. Those are the ones I would look into. Let's see. To what extent the election results influence the fate of this bull run? I think it's a very small chance. Look back at the other cycles. 2016, 2020, right? It doesn't matter whether it's a Republican or a Democrat in there. Bitcoin does its thing regardless. Okay, BTC and the rich, not everyone's, yeah. Okay, looking at January 2026 expiry options, do you anticipate an extended bull run? Not right now. Right now, it's kind of playing out the way it was in 2015, 2016. So I'm not expecting it right now, but things can change, and we'll have to keep an eye on it. So, and plus, I don't deal with options, so I couldn't help you there. Sorry. Okay. Is it too late for the EU, USA, etc. to stop BTC and stablecoins? I think it is too late. You got in financial institutions now, putting on ETFs, and yeah, I think it's too late. Why Riot Sec went down? Bad results. They were down 100 some odd $1 million for the quarter. Let's see, man, always so many same questions. That must get but people come in later on, also, so I want to give them a chance. So as long as I don't see from the same person the same question, I'll answer it. Jerry says that's BS. And Wall Street is hoping for a Trump win, so that's why pricing in BTC going on a bull run. No. Was Wall Street pricing in Trump victory when Biden won and we actually went up on that one, right? So I don't think that's the case. To look back historically what Bitcoin has done, it does, to me, it seems like it does not really care who the politician that's going to be sitting at the Oval Office. Okay. Hi, Seb. Seb, the Continent show, you keep up great work. Any news from, no news from Ben. Thank you so much on that one. We'll see what they report here on Friday. We're only 2 days away now. So it's kind of a moot point to ask me about where we're going to be on, hash rate and things like that when they report it in probably on 2 days. What else we have? IREN has by far the lowest stock-based compensation of the large miners. I think you're right on that. Do you think IREN grew their hash rate this month? I would expect it to, right? They're supposed to get to 30 exahash by the end of the year, so basically they need to grow, or 31 exahash, so they need to grow 3 exahash a month here, so they should grow. Let's see, already covered that. Let's see. So, brother, what are you doing with 450 million shares? Bitfarms will never be at 15 to 20, not in the next cycle either. They don't have 400. Let me see. How many shares do they have? Let's see here. Bitfarms. Okay, they do have 450 million shares. So, at $10, that would give them only a $4.5 billion market cap. That's not that much. You got Marathon right now at $5 billion market cap, right? Their hash rate is growing. That's kind of why I'm saying they could get to between like 6 and 8 billion possibly. If Marathon's getting to like 20 billion or something like that, I think that it is a fair number for them. But that's if it plays out the way I think. So, but here's the numbers that I have on them right here. Right, for 451, you're right on the numbers of shares. Multiply it times $10, right? What does that get us to? 4.5 billion. Say at $20, you're looking at 9 billion. Only be a little less than 2x on where Marathon is right now. And if Marathon's going up 5, 6, 7x from where they are, you're looking at 25, 30 billion, 35 billion, something like that, even maybe for them at that point. So I think it's still possible. We'll see. Okay, Q&A, going back. Will Riot recover or will it down from here on? It will recover, I think. Bitcoin just hasn't needs to have a good day where it goes up 3, 4, 5%, and Riot will recover. Cases BTC, I don't think so, right? Depending where other miners go, it's going to follow up as well. Okay. Why Riot not stop the share-based compensation? How can we stop? Well, I don't know. I'm not sure why. Let's see. My Bitfarms price targets are 6 bear, 7 base, 12 bull. How realistic do you think they are? I think that's really good. That's really conservative on those numbers. But then again, can they overcome the Riot? No, excuse me, I had to burp. The Riot shares that are. Can they overcome Riot and with the shares that they have of Bitfarms and with the fear of them possibly selling it, right? Can they overcome that? That's a big if. Okay. Historically, we had worst bull run with double peak when Biden won. Also, people didn't know Biden and Democrats were negative on BTC until after they got in and tried to tax Bitcoin miners. Historically, we had a worst bull run. I would disagree with that. But I know what you're saying there, but I would disagree. The double peak was not because of Biden. It was because of China banning Bitcoin, and then we had some other stuff happening after that as well. Companies going bankrupt, FTX, all that stuff. But that was, I think, after the peak of the double one. But there's other things in there. Okay. BTC tops, in my opinion, when the stock market corrects. People will be selling the BTC for income. Maybe. Let's see. If you guys are looking for 2 to 3x, why not just invest in crypto itself? SUI, Euro, STX, Easy 6x. Yeah, don't know about those. You could invest in, I think it's BitX. Is that a 2x on Bitcoin also? But if you were getting into now, yeah, your multiples of how much you can make on these is much lower than what it was when if you were buying towards the bottom, which is not easy to do. A lot of people don't do that because there's just so much fear on it. So if you bought in towards the bottom and you have a really good low average price on them, you're already up, 2x, 3x, or whatever it is. From the bottoms, you're probably even up more. But if you're dollar cost average into them, you're still up doing really well. Okay. Let's see. Especially we know the miner space is very risky. Wouldn't the best plan to be to buy in the bear BTC market, bottom 20 of the charts, and then ratio trade or pair swap when one lags the other? Possibly. I think the best time to buy is when we are in a bear market and you're down and the miners are down 80, 90%. That is the best time to do it. Can you perfectly time the bottom? No, I can't time the bottom perfectly. So I've been buying into it since January 2022, right? When miners were still up a little higher, but they bottomed out at the end of 2022. So I would say that's probably the best way to go. Andre says, at this point, I'd be happy with $5 in Bitfarms. That would be great too. Okay. Looks like I've pretty much covered to all your guys' questions here. So we're going to call it a day, and we've been going on for about an hour. It's 11:38. I need to get to sleep too. Tomorrow, what do we have tomorrow? Tomorrow, I think we have, is Cypher reporting tomorrow? I think they are, right? Correct me if I'm wrong there, but I think Cypher's reporting tomorrow as well. I don't know if anybody else is, but tomorrow's Halloween. We'll see how Bitcoin does. It's the end of the month as well. So there's a lot of stuff happening here. So we'll cover anything that happens tomorrow. We'll get into a Q&A as well. We'll cover all that. But I hope you guys have a safe Halloween tomorrow. Hope you guys take your kids out and have fun. I'll do that as well. So it might be a late stream tomorrow also because of that fact. Okay. But I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for coming in. Love you all. Have a great night.